The third thing you should know really seems like it's the opposite of consistency, but bear with me. Hello and welcome back to All Things Becca. Today I'm sharing 5 things you need to know to help you stay consistent. We are in a season of self-growth. If you're watching this on the day that I'm posting it, it is officially the first day of our 75-day winter arc challenge. So consistency is going to be super important right now. Regardless, there's so many things that you might want to be staying consistent with. Maybe you're trying to go to the gym more often. Maybe you want to read more. Whatever it is, knowing these 5 things is going to be so helpful. The first thing you need to know about is a habit loop. Habit loop is formed with the cue, the routine, and the reward. For example, you always have dessert at dinner. The cue is you finish dinner, the routine is having dessert, and the reward is the delicious taste and the dopamine that releases. Understanding this habit loop makes it so much easier to change your habits. But additionally, understanding the habit loop also helps you change any habits that are stopping you from being consistent. The key with the habit loop is that in order to change it, you change the routine. Let's talk about this dessert example. If you no longer want to be having dessert after you finish dinner, then you need to change the routine because your brain is still craving that reward. In this example, I'm going to say if you finish dinner, instead of getting dessert, maybe you make yourself a cup of tea. But then your brain is happy because you got that reward, but you didn't have the dessert. If you want to learn more about habit loops, I really recommend checking out Shelby Sacco. She's where I learned all of this. She's super deep into habits. Definitely check her out if you're interested in this. The second thing you need to understand is setting yourself up for success. You want to have as few barriers as possible to doing the things that you're trying to stay consistent with. Let's say you're trying to add more protein into your diet. You open up your fridge and there's 2 things. There's chicken that you need to cook and add rice and add veggies, and there's your leftovers from your takeout last night. The chicken has all of these barriers. You need to figure out how you want to cook it. You want to figure out what you're adding to it. Make sure you have those ingredients. That takes time, and you're hungry. But your takeout is sitting here. All you have to do is throw it on a plate and heat it up. You're gonna reach for the takeout because it has less barriers. So what you want to do is remove those barriers around the chicken. Maybe that means that you start meal prepping. You don't have to make the whole dish, but you know what the dish is going to be ahead of time, and that chicken is cooked. So all you have to do is cut it up and combine it with the other ingredients. Willpower is how you push through those barriers. There's a lot of science about willpower. Again, Shelby Sacco talks about this, which is kind of why it came up. But you have more willpower in the mornings than you do at night. So it's a lot easier to do things that align with your goals in the mornings. Additionally, that means that at night you're a lot more likely to fall back into those old habits, and this is where barriers can actually work in your favor. If there's something you know that you consistently do at night that completely messes with your goals, create barriers to it. Let's go back to the dessert. Let's add a barrier there. If every single night you're trying to eat ice cream, what if there's no ice cream in the house? That creates a barrier. You would either have to go out and get it or you would have to order it. Those are barriers that stop you from doing that thing and instead help you take the easier choice that would be more aligned with your goals. The third thing you should know really seems like it's the opposite of consistency, but bear with me. I know it's so tempting to go full into it and do it every single day, but that will lead to issues of not staying consistent, and then you give up on yourself and then you're no longer doing it at all. Instead, you should start with just 3 days a week. Once you've gotten in the habit of doing that thing 3 days a week, then you can increase it to 4 or 5, and then you can consistently add until you're doing it however many days you want to. For example, a couple months ago, I decided that I wanted to start going to the gym. I had never been a gym girly. I never went to the gym. That was not a part of my routine. I started with just a couple days a week. I had a friend who came with me sometimes, and that helped me kind of stay accountable on those days, but I was only going 3 or 4 days a week. That was a few months ago, and now I can say that I'm consistently going 5 days a week, and it doesn't feel like a struggle. It feels like just part of my routine. The fourth thing you should know is that you need to give yourself a break. You don't want to get burnt out and give up. If you're trying to wake up early every day, You don't necessarily have to wake up at 7 a.m. on the weekend. You can sleep in a little bit. Forcing yourself to do this thing that's really, really hard in the beginning every single day will really deplete your willpower. And especially if you're trying to add a lot of things to your routine at one time, you need to be careful how you're using that willpower. So build in breaks. Once it's a habit, it won't require any willpower at all, and you can do it without the breaks. The last and maybe most important thing that you need to know is never skip 3 days in a row. 1 day is fine. That's just a rest day. 2 days, that's a weekend. 3 days, you're losing your momentum. Give yourself a break on that second day. If you meant to do it, but now you're not doing it, just make sure that you stay consistent and you get it done on that third day. Alright, that is all that I have to share with you. I hope that these tips were helpful. If you have any additional tips, please comment them down below. I'd love to hear how you're staying consistent. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, subscribe. No one's stopping you. I post weekly content about all things wellness and self-love and becoming the best version of yourself. So if that sounds interesting, I would love to have you join the community. Whatever it is that you're trying to stay consistent with, I wish you the absolute best. You've got this. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye, guys.